friends, watch over the soldiers for our land, Lord Jesus. Thank you for all that you do for us. But most of all, Lord, I want to thank you for the plan of salvation to see. Amen. Amen.
Join me in the pledge of our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please check in. Pressing yes on your crawler. And confirm.
What's the deal? He ain't signed in.
My monitor's off. This one right here. Yeah, it's plugged up.
Madam Clerk, can you reset it and we'll check in again?
Good, Mayor.
Great. Okay. We have all present. We have a quorum. Okay, first item on the agenda is approval of previous meeting minutes. I'll entertain a motion.
I so moved.
Motion by Commissioner Goins, second by Hort. Any discussion? Please vote yes or no and press confirm. Does anyone wish to change the vote? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please show the vote. 15 yes, motion passed. Next item is notary public application approval. Have a motion, Commissioner Davis, for approval of renewals. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please. Motion passed 14. Second. Any discussion? Yes or no? Confirm. Does anyone wish to change their vote? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please show the vote. Motion passed, 15 yes.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Bruce.
Public input.
I am remiss. My apologies. In accordance with our policy, we would welcome the public for address to the County Commission.
I've already signed in.
Thank you, Jim.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, I want to talk to you about three short subjects. The first one is animal shelter. Where is the Animal Control Committee? Has it been meeting throughout this
Your next time?
first time?
No. 2 weeks ago.
You know, we established these committees to provide, they're made up of commissioners to provide direct input back to the commission, and I think it could help solve a lot of problems if they were used more effectively. Not that they aren't willing to do it, but it's what committees are for. I don't believe in committees, but if you're going to have them, use them. The second thing is going to be the director's salary for the animal shelter. What's it going to be?
It currently sits at $24,000 with health care benefit.
I can tell you, I've done a salary analysis of all the directors in the county. And $24,000 flat out does not cut it, does it, Johnny? And I recommend that this commission and the mayor belly up and pay that position what it needs. It's been nothing but a disaster for the last few years. You've got a person that's willing to step up to the plate, do her job, take the heat, and she has a lot riding on this. The potential failure, and the track record is there for failure. And she needs to be paid what she's worth. And I say a minimum of $40,000 for that job. You've got the director of the ambulance service, high-paid department head. You've got the director of the landfill or the sanitary services to a much lesser expense, and $40,000 is way below that. And if you're going to have a director of an animal service, pay her in accordance with what she's expected to do. There's going to be a lot of weekends, a lot of overtime work that she's not going to be compensated for because it's going to be a salaried job, and she ought to be paid. And I'm serious about that. It's only fair to pay a person for the work they're going to be expected to do. And I guarantee you she's going to be under the microscope from here on out, because people are just waiting for a slip-up again. And I say that not only on behalf of her, but also on behalf of the county. We don't want to have to go through this again. It's ridiculous. We've had 7 outbreaks, according to my count, of parvo since September the 1st. I want it to stop. And I want regular humane control, animal control for our county. The next one is the mayor's $38,000 bucket list that's been asked for. As you know, we went through a budgeting process last year, and everything that was requested was denied, turned down. And now, at the end of the year, there's a tendency to go through and clean the budget out. Money left over. There shouldn't be any surplus if it was budgeted very conservatively. It ought to be tried to be budgeted to the penny. There's $38,000 left. That money ought to go back to the county. If it's a worthy project, it ought to come up in the budgeting process, not at the end of the year because of some reason insurance money's not been paid. What if all elected officials did that, cleaned out all their budgets at the end of the year? Just, hey, let's go spend. Which is a tendency. You saw it in the city. People tried to raid the budget at the end of the year, and you put a stop to it, didn't you? If this occurred, and I think Mr. Marlowe would agree with this, if everybody cleaned out the surplus out of their budgets, eventually there would be no fund balance. Is that not right, Jeff?
That is correct.
That's absolutely correct. That's where your fund balance comes from savings. You don't normally budget to increase the fund balance, only in time of an emergency, when you've been hit really hard. The main source for building a fund balance is unspent prior year resources. Mr. Marlowe is asking for a tax increase to increase the size of the fund balance because last year or this year we overspent our resources. Is this an oxymoron? You're asking for money because we overspent our resources. We're going to spend the money that will go into the fund balance. It doesn't mean. And if there's any extra money, put it in the animal shelter. You're going to have to anyway. Also, on another thing that's near and dear to me, and I probably Mr. Coker is not going to be happy about this, that I bring it up, but Tennessee code has not changed. A supermajority of the commission is required to impose a wheel tax. This must be levied each year. This was not approved by the voters on the continuing thing. It's approved each year by the county commission, just as is the property tax rate set. Each year you have to set it. A simple majority is not authorized by the Tennessee Code to pass a wheel tax. And number 4, At the current rate of tax increases, using the rule of 72, which is an interest compounding formula that is used, the property tax rate in this county will double in 3 more years at the rate you're going. Think about it. The wheel tax, for every dollar spent on the wheel tax, equals 1/2 cent in tax rate. So actually, our tax rate is $1.99 plus 22.5 cents. And I think that was using Mr. Marlowe's figure. It raises what, approximately $35,000. A penny in property tax raises $70,000. I also sought a legal opinion, and the opinion is, and we constantly have to ask for this, a meeting that cannot be heard is a meeting out of the sunshine, and those are the exact words of the legal opinion I sought. I am a hearing impaired veteran, and I resent having to sit in a meeting and constantly ask people, we can't hear you. You either speak loud enough into the microphone or speak loud enough with your own voice, or I will request an ADA accommodation, which means you have to hand out earphones or something to everybody that wants them. But we can hear you. Many of you are also texting during the meeting each other, carrying on private conversations. That is out of the sunshine. You're not allowed to do it. Conduct your business in public. And I love every one of you, but that's the rules, and you ran on the rules. I also want to congratulate Mr. Morrow on a job well done for getting his CO for the jail. Thank you.
Do we have anybody else for public address, Please, Commission? Anybody else? Okay. Next agenda item is the committee reports and minutes.
Motion to approve the committee reports and minutes, Mr. Chair.
Have a motion by Commissioner Ord, second by Commissioner Bruce. Any discussion? Seeing none, please vote yes or no and confirm. Does anyone wish? Please hit confirm. Does anyone wish to change the vote? Madam Clerk, please show the vote. Motion passed. Yes. Next item, approved budget amendments and other funding resolutions. Do I hear a motion? Motion by Commissioner Bruce. Do I hear a second? Commissioner Davis, any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, the motion has to include the budget resolutions being passed, the number 5-1 through 5-9. Okay, budget amendments 5-1 through 5-5. 5-9. 5-1 through 5-9. Any further discussion? Please vote yes or no and confirm.
Need to state all the things.
So noted.
I'd like to state it correctly, conflict of interest. I work for the County Board of Education.
So noted. So noted. Any further discussion? Does anyone wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please show the vote. Motion passed, 15 yes. Next item is reports from county officials.
Make a motion, we approve the reports from the county officials, Mr.
Motion,
Chair.
Commissioner Ord. I hear a second.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Goins. Any discussion? Seeing none, please vote yes or no and confirm. Does anyone wish to change the vote? Madam Clerk, please show the vote. Motion passed, 15 yes. I think we added anything on other matters? No?
Coming up under surplus items from the sheriff's department. You want to do it under yours or leftover?
The Sheriff's Department.
Yes, sir.
For the record, you need a correction on the Sheriff Department surplus items, you have 2 vehicles with the same VIN number listed. If you look on this page right here,
What page is it?
it's A, after 28A.
Do we have anybody here from the department?
We have both the 2005 Ford Crown Vic and the 2007 Ford Crown Vic with the exact same VIN number, which is obviously not correct. I agree.
But you have to have the correct VIN number for the other.
I think you could probably declare a surplus, just wanted to line through that and say to be provided later or something to that effect, but that's not the correct VIN number, right?
Okay, pending the VIN number for the 2007. Would you consider a motion for approval of those under other matters?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chair, that we approve these. Also, that Glock, and I'm trying to find the serial number on it also. And then I guess we can do it all.
The firearm was actually March. We did,
I understand. It's a Glock model 22 .40 caliber. I can almost remember the email or the serial number. UX something.
is Andy Wallace in the room? Did we get that serial number, Andy?
It's in here if I can find
I
it.
emailed some to the commissioners, was that just the,
Serial number UXB720. It's a Glock model 22 .40 caliber. Union X-Ray Boy 720. And I make that my motion. There's also some more items that's coming from the clerk's office. We might as well do them also. The 4 items, the Xerox copy machines, there's 4 of them. And I'll put that in my motion.
Okay, 4 Xerox copy machines. Okay.
5 Crown Vics and 1 Glock model 22.
We only had issues with 2 Crown Vics, right?
Okay.
So a total of 5 Crown Vics.
Pending the serial numbers.
Did I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Goins. Any discussion? Seeing none, please vote yes or no and confirm. Does anyone wish to change their vote? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please show the vote. Thank you. Okay. For County Mayor's portion, I have one item I would ask for consideration on, the litter grant. Is that just that for this month, Andy? Okay. We've handed out copies of the litter grant. It is the funding source for 2 deputized supervisors and all the school programming that goes along with it for the 2015-16 year. Asking for consideration for.
Make a motion, we approve the litter grant for 2015-2016.
This is in addition to the agenda. It would require suspending the rules to consider that.
I thought we discussed that at the last.
Did we?
Last Monday night's
Okay.
meeting.
Okay. So it is on the agenda.
It's on the agenda.
Okay, that's included.
It's in your
Okay.
package too.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, please vote yes or no. And confirm.
Sorry.
Does anyone wish to change their vote? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please show the vote. Motion passed, 15 yes. I have a one-time cost savings in my office, $38,000, constituted completely of health care premiums that we did not use. I'm a military retiree. I've got an 80-20 plan. I put that in place last year and it saved the county $17,000. Everybody else in my office used alternate health care. That will likely not be the case in the future. So that's a one-time offer to redirect the $38,000. And the recommendations I have are $2,000 for the Campbell County Anti-Drug Coalition, $3,000 to the animal shelter, and $4,000 for the White Oak School Zone Road, and $29,000 for Memorial Drive, leading to the airport through a cemetery. So that is my recommendation to you.
Mayor, you said there was one involving the lights, White Oak.
Yes.
We've got a budget amendment already in the package. You said the road. That was.
Are you talking about the road?
Said the road.
It's for the road.
Oh, okay.
If this fiscal year holds out, we have an opportunity to do something with that road. Kids are riding school buses through the dust every day up there, and I expect some engineering needs to be done. $4,000 is not going to buy a lot of asphalt, but I expect some engineering needs to be done, and if you squeeze it out of the road department budget, I'd be surprised if we can get it all done.
One more comment, Mayor. Respectfully, I would recommend that you reduce that, or that we reduce that down to a budget amendment for consideration by the commission, as opposed to that, so you'll have some historical record, but it still would work here.
Well, if I don't get a straw vote to tell me to do that tonight, I don't want to move forward with it. But there's definitely been no slush, and as soon as we come back for re-enrollment, I expect everybody to enroll on health care, or that's the planning assumption for every office out here. But I did intend to achieve some cost savings. I committed at least the amount of last year's pay raise for the county mayor, because I was not in the seat when I received it. It's about 15 times that, it's about 20 times that pay raise. So that was my commitment, to try to achieve some cost savings for the people, and actually a challenge to other offices. So, for your consideration. Is there anyone who would oppose putting that together as a budget amendment for the next cycle, before the end of the fiscal year?
We aren't going to vote on this tonight without budget.
No, we can't spend it without a budget amendment, but I wanted the public to be able to hear beyond what we had workshop. And yes, you do have the opportunity to take it and put it back in the general fund. We've not had a discussion about doing anything other than looking at our county debt and saying it's just going to be there. I'd be glad to engage in an early payoff discussion. Commissioner Weldon?
You did mention the $29,000 as Memorial Drive. That is paving for Memorial Drive?
That's correct. We've had 95% money invested at the airport and improved the infrastructure, added an aviation ambulance and a new fuel farm. And you don't want ambulances coming to transfer, banging over potholes out there in the middle of the road. One of your highest payroll businesses on that road, and we're competing to keep them. So it's a good place to invest.
Mayor, is that a city street or a?
Partially city to the edge of the cemetery.
So you can only pay the county portion?
And that's where all the potholes are. Commissioner Davis?
Is 29,000 enough money to do that?
No, I don't think it will be. I think you'll have a series of patches. But it's very poor.
Do these microphones work? I'm curious. Do the microphones work?
We can't hear me?
Can you not hear me?
I can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay.
What do you need? You need a motion to?
Well, I just wanted a straw poll to know if anybody had any issues with using that funding that way. Otherwise, it will go back to the general fund for your decision on how to use it.
I was under the impression we voted on this to take it to the commission tonight, to vote on it tonight in the workshop. Did we not do that?
We did, but we need a resolution after. Commissioner Nance.
The ones that you've got designated in here for roads, So we have to give that to the highway department because we can't tell them which roads to take.
Or make the money available.
I
to
can
use.
make the money available for that use. I suppose technically I could buy the truckload of asphalt, but I'd have to find somebody to lay the road.
And you can.
But there are very few places in the county where you can get any bang for 29,000 road bucks. And that's a place that's highly used. You have a medical necessity functioning on that road now.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Orr.
you said something about the insurance for your employees is, if I'm not mistaken, if they decide to take the insurance, that automatically, we cannot keep them from accepting them, am I right, Jeff?
That's correct.
And we did not.
So if, at this coming fiscal year, if they decide to take the health insurance, we cannot keep them from taking it.
And I don't intend to. It's just a one-time cost savings I'm making you aware of, but it is a cost savings nonetheless.
But the insurance itself is not coming into play till the fiscal next year.
No, sir, that's not what he's saying.
Okay?
The mayor's saying that there was appropriations made in the budget instrument that assumed that there would be medical insurance participation within the mayor's office.
Right.
That in reality did not occur in the 14-15 year, the year we're in now.
I've called
Square now?
it. Yes, I'm
Which is
square.
about to end.
I'm square.
So, option to you. Commissioner Wells.
I'd like to make one more comment about this 29,000. One of our biggest industries is Thermador, and they're in this area, if I'm not right. And they're actually looking to possibly expand,
That's correct.
from what I hear. And I think it's to me, I think it's a no-brainer that we do that. I mean, that just, to us, that's showing that we're trying anyway.
Any further discussion? Commissioner Baird?
Agree with Mr. Wellman on that.
I'm going to make a motion that we approve that 29,000 for that road.
I second it.
Have a motion and a second, subject to budget resolution for next cycle.
When he says next cycle, he means next month.
Next month. That's correct. Any further discussion?
Has this been discussed with the road superintendent?
I have had some discussions with our road superintendent about
okay?
several projects, this one included.
And he's okay with it?
Yes. Any further discussion? Commissioner Bruce?
29,000. You also asked for 4,000 for White Oak Road. Would that not be added in?
Well, the 29,000 is in my district. It's on Memorial Drive, it's in my district. And Lonnie's correct. Oh, yeah, and it should be the same for any of you, if you ask. And it needs to be fixed. Not only do we have Thermador out there and some other business, we also have our cemetery, and people was buried out there. And I've heard complaints for the last couple of years, and I know Mr. Dillbeck's sitting in the audience, and I'm sure he gets them every week. And we need to fix that place. Yeah, we're not putting it back in, Mr. Slusher, but I believe we're doing a good deed by fixing that road, I believe.
I don't disagree with you.
But, and I understand what you're saying. There's money that we need to look at it more economically, I guess. But that's a good economic way to spend it right there. But that's my motion. Somebody wants to add to it, I'm all for you.
Mayor, I'm sorry.
Commissioner Jennings?
One other thing they need to consider is also when business flies in here and we want to show them around, that's a bad street to start out on. So I agree with Mr. Orr.
Any other discussion? Commissioner Baird?
I think he's looking to expand out there, so we need to maybe try to impress.
Commissioner Davis?
Or do we need to make another motion after this to approve the other?
We'll put it under the Budget and Finance Committee for next month.
That work? The rest of the
$7,000.
$7,000. You just made a motion for the 29.
You can amend my motion. You can amend my motion, and you can wait till next month.
Commissioner Ayers?
So ultimately, it's going to Budget and Finance next month.
Correct.
To be discussed.
So it's
And then
non-binding
it is.
tonight.
So there's really no point in really voting. You just want to know where we stand.
Giving him directions.
Is there any way you could get, is this thing working?
Thank you.
Is there any way you can get with Bert and see if there might be enough in his budget the next cycle to put with it and pave it instead of patch it?
We talked about several options, and I don't see it in his
Don't see
budget.
it there.
No.
Or maybe the road.
Or even if you could, the funds at the airport can't
Can't
be
do it.
used.
That's what I was wondering.
Okay.
I would also like to add the animal shelter, the $3,000 to that. I think it'd go good for kennels that they need.
Just put this off.
Okay. The Campbell County Anti-Drug Coalition is an unfunded organization that has sponsored a whole lot of legislation and supported a lot of training in the community, and they've got no money to match grants with. They were final 3 on a list of hundreds 2 years ago for a $250,000 planning grant to help address drugs in our community beyond what we're able to do now. Anybody will be willing to consider that in a motion? Commissioner Bruce? Okay. So it's so amended as I proposed, correct?
Please.
Okay. Any further discussion? All right. Please vote yes or no. Confirm for the non-binding resolution subject to the Budget and Finance Committee in the June cycle. Does anyone wish to change the vote? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please show the vote. Motion passed 15 yeas. I'm nominating Ms. Bruce as your animal shelter director for your confirmation.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nance.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Weldon. Any discussion?
That's a correct.
Commissioner Bruce?
Listening to Mr. Slusher a few minutes ago, about the supervising position, I think that should be something that we look into, when we start the budget process.
I think so.
Concur. That structure is within the budget that you've currently approved. But certainly we can look at that. Any other discussion?
I have a question just for clarity, Mr. Chair. I wasn't at the Animal Control Board meeting, and I'm actually not a member. And did they decide to give it to them? Are they going to, I don't want to put Maz in this position, and I'm sorry I don't know because I come in late, but is she going to still be working out there with the same aspect of giving it to Friends of Campbell County?
To our understanding, she is, and they have also going to appoint her as director also.
Okay.
What did he say?
To our understanding at the animal control meeting, that yes, they were going to appoint her as the director.
Commissioner Nance?
You said that we're putting Meds out there under this year's budget.
That's correct.
How much is budgeted for the director in this year's budget?
$24,000.
$24,000?
That's the rate. Now, this will be subject to any agreement we make in the future about how we run the shelter. But in the interim, we've got no director.
Just for my correction, did you say for the remaining budget?
Yeah, it's a...
This fiscal budget was a $24,000 budget.
Right, but
For
she asked
that
for the
position.
remaining. Did you
But
know?
the funds,
For the remaining part of this fiscal year, until July 1st.
we can pay that rate through the end of the FY. Matter of fact, you've got probably 8-9 weeks now of residual from a vacancy. If we haven't, no, we didn't move it.
We're still in the past, what's wrong?
No, I understand. I just thought you meant what was remaining. There's not that much remaining in the budget.
No, that budget rate. Salary rate. That's what we're talking about.
Right, but you're talking about annual salary.
That's what the mayor said, right?
Right, I thought you were talking about what was remaining for the rest of the budget.
That would be her salary for the rest of this fiscal year.
The remainder of May, June is in the budget to pay at the rate of $24,000 a year.
Okay, a year, not 24,000
No.
remaining for the budget. That's what.
No, at that rate.
He said. Thank you for the correction.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, please vote yes or no and confirm. Does anyone wish to change their vote? Seeing none? Oh. Carl? Okay. Does anyone wish to change their vote? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please show the vote. Motion passed, 15 yes. My second recommendation to you is 2-week closure beginning tomorrow morning in order to sanitize the shelter.
Mr. Chairman, did the committee also meet and discuss this and vote on it?
Yes, we did.
And the recommendation?
Commissioner Higginbotham?
Yes, it was discussed in this meeting at 4:30 to close the shelter temporary for a period of 2 weeks until it's sanitized.
And the vote?
Sir? Yes. It was voted and passed by the committee to bring to the full commission. I make the motion to suspend the animal shelter for a period of 2 weeks.
Second.
Until it's sanitized.
I have a motion and second. Discussion?
Yes, Mayor. 2-week suspension of the animal shelter. Patricia, do you think it would take 2 weeks, or?
I think it could take up to 2 weeks,
Correct.
depending if they have their part-time employees, their full-time employee, and the trustees keep coming. I think they may be able to get it done faster than 2 weeks. If it were me, I would close it for up to 2 weeks and give them the option to reopen the second that they feel like it's clean enough.
Okay. I would concur with that.
That's what I was going to say. Could we amend the motion to close it for up to 2 weeks at MES's discretion to reopen when safe?
I'll amend that.
You accept it, right?
Accept it.
I'll accept that.
I'll accept it.
Okay, I have up to 2 weeks. Any further discussion?
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Davis.
Once they get it clean, they notify you, and then they can open it without our meeting and approving it? Okay. All right.
I think our determining event would be the ultraviolet.
Yes, he can come once the drains have been cleaned and flushed. Until then, he doesn't feel comfortable bringing his company in and taking responsibility of cleaning until those things.
Do we know when that's going to happen, the drains?
What's our window, Miss?
I mean, the drains need to be done first thing. If we're closing tomorrow, I would like to have somebody up there tomorrow, because once those are cleaned and flushed out, then we have to go back and clean everything. I mean, that's gonna, we've been cleaning, but basically when the drains are cleaned and all that stuff sprays everywhere, we're gonna recontaminate our building because those drains are contaminated. So that's number one thing on the list that needs to be done first.
Commissioner Higginbotham.
Do we have anybody lined up to do that project?
We don't. I was hoping maybe Mr. Weldon would.
I think that the city would have, city of La Follette, if we could get them, would have more adequate supplies to do that with than what I have personally. I mean, I don't care to do it personally, free of charge, but let me check with the La Follette Utilities and see if they're willing to bring a jet machine, which would be a lot better. I can do that first thing in the morning.
Thank you.
Is that a septic system that runs into Lonnie, or are you familiar with it?
Is that the way I understand it, is a septic system?
I think there are two.
What I looked at was some 3-inch drains, and just need to get them flushed out, jetted out.
You make sure that it's a septic system in the tank holding tanks. I mean, it could be anything. Once you put that, if they decide to do that, they could.
What it is just to flush the traps out.
Andy, let's review the plan tomorrow and make sure we know whether it's tied to sewer or septic.
It's not in sewer, there's no sewer out there.
But you want to make sure that you got big enough tanks to handle the pressure. And I'm sure it does. I'm sure it was designed, laid out. I wasn't here when it was built, but I'm sure Jeff may even have some plans over in his office.
I'll give you LMOT's number, you can call him. I'll give you Alan Wilson's number, and you call him at 7:30 a.m., and you'll get him.
All right. Just confirm that with Mr. Wilson at the Health Department tomorrow. Any other discussion? Please vote yes or no and confirm. Does anyone wish to change the vote? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please show the vote. Motion passed, 15 yes. That concludes my portion. County Commissioners, Commissioner Ayers.
Had a lot of discussion, but I don't know that I really have anything for the agenda, other than maybe, and again, Joe, as far as getting the prior year tax lien properties off the county books annually on a regular basis, is that something we can make a motion to do because it falls under the mayor's office? Or is it just a request I need to make?
You can make a request to do that, and I think that once this process begins, it's going to be easier, I think, going forward than it has been. You've got several of these properties that are coming up here to the doctor. Problems. You all know that. So hopefully, as it goes forward, those problems will not be as severe.
Okay. So I guess I can hold off until we get through one process and then see. Y'all understand what I'm referring to? I want it to be annually, that it's just automatically done by the mayor's office. Any property that we've acquired and held that 1 year that's now on the county books at zero tax dollar income, we need it off of there. We're not in the business of owning property. So, and no, I don't have anything to do with selling it. So
I'm committed to doing that.
well, I'm just going to ask, and that's all.
There will be a second round of these that will be the 1 year right of redemption will expire on June the 16th. So there's additional properties that will become available at that time.
Well, the question I had before was to get them out there. The commission voted to turn it over to the FMS. That was our option. And for them to establish, I thought, fair market value at the tax lien amount plus the expenses of the sale. And I know that's what other counties have done, because I called around, but then you weren't here, so I couldn't ask, but they said that wasn't how it was to be done. And my discussion is, they had called another real estate company to come and look at the properties. But when you purchase a tax lien acquired property, it is not insurable on the secondary market. I know for real estate, I know what that means for us. You have to then file the claim in the court to quiet the title before you can really go borrow money or build a house or do anything with it. So if you go out here and you look at vacant land or houses even, and you're trying to compare them to others that have sold on the standard arm's length market, that's not really comparable. So I guess my question is, where do we stand establishing the fair market values of them? Can it not be the tax lien, what we've got in it, plus the fees?
The statute says that you're supposed to try to get the fair market value of the property, but no less than the amount of the taxes, penalties, interest, fees, and costs. So, in order to have what you call a threshold price, I think what the mayor's trying to do is to give us just some advice for the committee of what should we price these. You know, we've given you a price, we've given you a list that shows what the total of those amounts would be for taxes, penalties, interest, fees, and costs.
Right.
And so, you know, I don't think that the FMS committee has that kind of expertise. But, you know, if they want to put a price on it without that, I guess they can. I mean, there's a bid process that goes through.
I guess my question is, how do you acquire a fair market value of a tax lien property that is not insurable to the next step? But let me back up. If I bought a tax lien for $2,000 on a house, and the house was worth $80,000, I wait my year, and then I go to sell it, if somebody is borrowing money via FHA, USDA, the government-backed loans, they cannot get title insurance on the property until I go file in the court to a suit to quiet title. So could the county file for that? If we acquired a property in tax lien that was worth anything, could we do it?
No, that's
Has to be.
not part of the process. I mean, you're asking a lawyer to talk about the values of property. That's the kind of question I would refer to a person like you.
And I would go pull up Anderson County and other counties that have sold tax lien acquired properties and use those for comps.
Certainly, there's a discount that you would have, like for somewhat of a lack of marketability of title.
Okay.
I don't know of any formula that you would have.
I don't either, but
What that would be. I mean, I just don't know.
all I know is we need it off of our books. So whoever's on FMS, let's get that rolling, please. Thank you.
Mr. Winfrey, can you provide an update on the signage posting for those properties?
Yeah, started putting signs up today on some property in between the rain showers. And, so far this done some of the ones here in the nearby La Follette area, but I think Andy sent out to everybody on the commission a list of the property, a description of each one that we've located so far. Hope y'all have got that. And there's a few others that he didn't have. I've got copies for all of you back there to give you after the meeting. And quite honestly, I've gone out and looked at all these properties now. And I can tell you right now, comparable sales, forget it. Most of, but not all, of this property, I wouldn't have it if you gave it to me. I'll just be honest with you. This piece of little strips of land in between two roads, and there's dust bunnies. As long as it is collecting dust from both of the gravel roads. They're a piece of property not landlocked, but with no public road access, which may or may not have a right-of-way. Steep hillsides, where you'd have to cut a driveway at a 45-degree angle straight up to get to the property from the public road, and gullies. There's a few that are decent pieces of property, but there was a reason why this property did not sell at the tax auction years ago. In most cases, because nobody wanted it, and there's a reason why the original owners did not pay the taxes on it and let it go to the county for taxes to begin with. They didn't want it. So don't get your hopes up that you're going to make a lot of money off of this. My honest opinion, if you set a minimum bid at too high, like at the tax lien that was against it, it'll never sell, and we'll have it in our hands another year from now. And you're exactly right. All we can give these people is a quit claim deed. We can't give them a warranty deed. So again, they're going to have to go in and quiet title to get a warranty deed before they could go in and borrow money to build a house or whatever. So, and there's a few pieces of property, don't get me wrong, there's a few pieces that are really nice. There's a couple of surprises in there. But the vast majority of what I've looked at so far will be really, really fortunate if anybody bids on it at all. Most of the people who will probably bid on it or consider making an offer are the people who own the adjacent property, and they'll just want to keep somebody out in their backyard, or they'll want to enlarge their lot a little bit. But if we set them in the bid too high, they won't touch it. So we'll just be forewarned. That's what we're dealing with. And I should have all the property that we can post. It's on the public road where I can put a sign up. I should have it all posted by Wednesday. So then the mayor should start getting phone calls.
Mr. Mayor, we actually started receiving phone calls today.
Okay. Following me around today, I guess. Any other questions?
Any other questions?
I have. Have you put up any signs out there yet, the ones you're going to sell?
Yeah, that's what we're saying. I started putting signs up today with.
Okay.
I've so far I've only put signs on about 5 pieces of property because it's been raining all afternoon and been like a drowned rat. But I should have them all posted by the middle of the week.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Winfrey? Thank you. Okay. I think Commissioner Kitts is next for the agenda. Any?
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. I don't know if Walt's here. See Jennifer back there. Walt, there he is. I see. Walt, on the longer hours that we decided about the dumps, the convenience centers at Cedar Hill and Wells Springs, have you been able to look at that this week or since last workshop?
Well, I was not at the workshop, but I talked to the attendants, to some of the commissioners, and we're beginning the Memorial Day weekend will be open 7 days a week. Now, we're still fluctuating with whether we're open 8 hours or 10 hours a day. Some are asking for 10 hours a day, but we'll see how the personnel can be arranged if we can.
Right. The residents in my district, District 2, they would prefer longer evening hours, and maybe 10-hour shifts might be a thing to look at in the future, and I appreciate your help on that. Okay. One more thing, Mayor.
We're budgeted at 8, though, for this FY.
Right, correct.
We could shift it.
That's what might be better for the working people that's on that end of town. I also discussed with Commissioner Weldon, Commissioner Kohlmeyer about having a town hall meeting. There'll be a town hall meeting for the 2nd District. Everyone's invited. That's going to be May the 28th. That's on a Thursday evening. May the 28th at 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. We're going to try to have it at the La Follette City Hall if they're available that evening, but if not, we'll make room somewhere. But in that vicinity at La Follette City Hall, May the 28th at 6 p.m., town hall meeting for the 2nd District. And a couple more things. I'm glad to see the In God We Trust being placed on the front of the courthouse and the new Justice Center. And, it's I bring it up in February, but a lot of people give me pats on the back, but it's not me. It's this commission. It's the previous commission and, the mayor's office, finance, and everybody that's been involved with it staying there. But I appreciate that. And, a lot of people give me credit, but I don't want credit. It's all of us. And we put our trust in God, and I'm glad to see it on the front of the courthouse. And Patricia, I don't know if we could suspend the rules, but I'd like to, for everybody that wasn't here during the animal control meeting, Patricia Simpson with FCCA, if she would come and, I guess, give a plan on what's going on with the animal shelter and going with that. Would that be, or do we require suspension?
Well, I think if you were taking that, if you wish to recognize her, if there's an objection, I think it's okay for you to proceed.
Okay. Patricia, introduce yourself, Patricia. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Patricia Simpson. I am the rescue coordinator and I'm a board member for Friends of Campbell County Animals. And everyone has in front of them a packet, and that packet it actually includes a business plan proposal for FCCA to have a 2-year contract to manage the shelter. I know a lot of you haven't had time to read it, but basically what it entails is it's the same budget for the shelter, except taking out the animal control officer. What FCCA is proposing is a 2-year management contract and lease of the building and the facilities included for $100,000 a year, which is actually $25,000 quarterly. That's the same current budget minus the ACO, salary, and benefits. The way this proposal reads is that animal control would stay with the county. That would be, I guess, under the mayor's office or the sheriff's office or however you all do it. What we propose is to increase citizen accessibility to the shelter. We want to increase adoptions by having later and increased hours for the shelter so people can actually get there and have access to the animals. We would like to increase the quality of customer service and decrease the complaints. And we are going to attempt to increase spay and neuter accessibility to low-cost low-cost clinics. And what we want to do is put into place job descriptions that are very strict, as well as a very strict cleaning protocol. We intend to continue to make monthly reports, as the shelter has been doing with the mayor's office. We would make a monthly report to the commission, and we can do that financially and as far as the stats go for the shelter and any parvo or outbreaks of disease. And we would still seek counsel and advice from the Animal Control Committee and the Animal Advisory Board. So if everyone gets a chance to look at that, I would appreciate it. But essentially, it's for FCCA to manage the shelter minus animal control.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thanks, Patricia.
Any questions for Patricia?
I would like to ask one question.
Yes, sir.
Earlier in the discussion, when they were talking about, I think I heard someone say that Ms. Bruce was going to be the director of the shelter and also was going to work with your organization as a director of that as well?
It would actually be, the structure that we have would be 2 co-directors, a shelter manager, and 3 part-time employees. Ms. Bruce would be the full-time shelter manager.
I just think that somewhere in this process, there needs to be some kind of a clear understanding about who she would ultimately answer to. You know, if there should be some kind of a disagreement, somebody has to say, here's what she needs to do.
Absolutely.
I would assume that would be the mayor.
Well, if FCCA were to actually contract to manage the shelter, and from July 1st forward for 2 years, the employees would actually respond and be controlled by FCCA.
I'm not suggesting what the solution to it would be. I just think you need to have a clear understanding about it.
Absolutely. And I know you haven't had a chance to read it, but it's actually in there.
And we were coming to you, Mr. Coker.
Oh, yeah, you were mentioned.
For the review. Any other questions for Patricia? Thank you, Patricia.
Thanks, Patricia.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Commissioner Stanfield.
Well, did we find out about the hours out there at the convenience center on Tow String? About for the commercial, about the scales?
We are looking at opening on Saturdays. I guess.
Part of the day on Saturday?
Half a day on Saturday.
Okay.
But we're going to have to move some money from outside the personnel budget to do it, and it's proven to be a challenge in this budget cycle.
Okay, thank you all.
Okay, that brings us to the end of the agenda. Commissioner Nance.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules, to make a motion concerning transferring the animal shelter control to FCCA, is that the right initials? Effective July the 1st, after Attorney Coker has looked at this and drawn up a contract. And one of his questions on Ms., she's transferring from a county employee to an employee of the FCCA.
Well, I think that's one thing that needs to be.
Yes.
I'm not trying to tell you what to do or suggest a solution to it. I just think you need to make sure that you have a clear understanding about what that's going to be.
Right.
Whose employee this is, who's in her direction. Because heretofore, you know, she's working through the mayor's office. You can't have two. And ultimately, you can't have 2 people telling somebody what to do if they have a disagreement. You've got to have somebody that's going to say, here's what you do. So that's all I'm.
Commissioner Nance, you've got a motion to suspend rules, but this is... Okay, I have a second.
Now we vote on
Any discussion? Okay. Please vote yes or no to suspend the rules and confirm. Does anyone wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please show the vote. Motion passed, 15 yes. rules are suspended for the purposes of this discussion.
Okay, now, I need to make a motion to transfer control of the animal shelter to FCCA effective July 1st and transfer the budget money over to them to run the shelter with the understanding that Ms. will be going out there as director at the shelter. Was that the correct word, director?
It's actually manager.
Manager of the shelter. Minus animal control. Minus animal control. And with, as Attorney Coker looking at this and coming up with the contract to make this legal.
The motion is to transfer authority on July the 1st.
I could come up with a draft of a contract for you to review and to discuss, but I'm still not clear myself who she would actually be working for.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Sometimes,
Mr. Douglas.
sometimes, Mayor, I'm pretty hard to catch on about a few things, but I don't understand how that this can be turned over to those people, and this lady still will be working for the county.
She won't be. You're changing the character.
She's going to be, the money is going to be going to them, right?
Correct.
And then they're going to be paying the lady, right? Is that correct?
In effect, yes. They've got an established 501c organization, 501c3, I'm thinking, nonprofit.
I think the clarification is, from now through June 30th, Nez will be an employee of the Campbell County Animal Shelter as director.
Correct.
And once July 1, FCCA takes that responsibility and assumes it, Nez will transfer to the shelter manager under the direction and responsibility of FCCA. The mayor's office would then be relieved of that liability duty.
And FCCA has a board.
Is that?
A board that would control it.
Mayor, I just have one question.
Mr. Marlowe.
And it's very simple. Is 100% of the cost to operate the animal shelter come July 1, 2015, assuming that this is passed, other than the expense associated with the animal control officer, wages and benefits,
Vehicle maintenance and fuel.
maintenance and fuel, being transferred out of the hands of the counties for that we no longer pay any expenses other than the $25,000 each quarter to FCCA. Is that correct?
That's my understanding.
They're going to pay the utilities, they're going to...
However, their 501c fully engaged has the ability to raise significant resources. So,
I'm only asking a simple clarification question that the only expenses that will remain in Campbell County government associated with animal control is going to be the wages and benefits, the truck maintenance, the fuel, and the vehicle insurance associated with the animal control officer, and all other things, the insurance on the building, the utilities, the maintenance of the building, blah, 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 all that's going to FCCCA.
Not the maintenance of the building.
I think it would be...
It's going to take a while to get that sorted.
We don't own, we would be leasing it.
Okay. Do you see the reason for my question then? I do.
That's correct. We didn't talk about that during the...
Yeah. I would strongly recommend that we get a finite cost proposal put together that ties into the agreement that's going to be drafted that says who's going to pay for what come July 1, 2015, so that you can get a true apples-to-apples comparison of the present budget constraints for the 14-15 year compared to what you're proposing for the 15-16 year.
Okay, I'll withdraw my motion and put it on the agenda for next month.
okay, a motion withdrawn. Commissioner Orr.
Last month, we'd recognized one of the county employees, and Jackie Bruce, and this month, I'd had it, and I had to leave, and I don't think we'd have to suspend the rules, everything's been done, but I want to do at least a recognition of Mark Sharp for 29 years. He did not want to attend, he's kind of backwards, but he's served 29 years, am I correct, Mr. Dillbeck? But we want to honor him this evening, and I'm sure that we'll have to suspend the rules, Mr. Jennings, if we put it up, but I want it to be read on the minutes when we do somebody. I want to make a motion to suspend the rules, that we address this one issue, if that's fine.
Second.
Have a motion to suspend the rules. Commissioner Rourke, second. Commissioner Ayers. Any discussion? Please vote yes or no and confirm to suspend the rules for the purposes of this discussion. Does anyone wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please show the vote. Motion passed. Rules are suspended for the purposes of this discussion.
Mr. Chairman, make a motion that we recognize Mr. Mark Sharp for 29 years in the Campbell County Road Department.
Second.
I have a motion and a
His
second
service
to
that he
recognize
takes.
Mr. Mark Sharp for 29 years of service to the Campbell County Road Department with our thanks. Any discussion? Please vote yes or no and confirm.
Yes, sir. We got it. He just did not want to attend.
Please press confirm.
And I understand that.
So good, man.
Does anyone wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please show the vote. Motion passed, 15 yes, and our thanks to Mr. Sharp. Actually, we did announce that at workshop, did we not?
Took care of the workshop.
Okay.
We just haven't brought it to the table.
I have one proposal from my agenda, and that is to move the tourism programming directorship back to the Chamber of Commerce under their 501c6 designation as the tourism coordinator for the county, and retaining economic development relationship in my office through Olivia Robbins, and continuing to further her education, but moving the resources under the direction of Mr. Branham and the board there at the Chamber.
I make a motion that we move the tourism to the chamber.
That's going to be effective now.
After the budget amendments to the conference.
Okay. We will.
Yes, sir.
We'll have to have a budget amendment next cycle. So,
Next month.
Next month.
yes.
I'll just put it next.
Okay, I have a motion. Here, second.
Effective
Second,
July.
Commissioner Bruce. Any discussion?
Effective on top of the budget amendment, I'm sorry.
Okay. Subject to the budget amendment next month. Any discussion? Please vote yes or no. And this is my recommendation to you, by the way.
Mr. Branham, he's here in the audience, I guess you'll accept that on behalf of the board? You'll accept that on behalf of the chamber board?
The chamber board meets Wednesday in session, and we will act on it formally. However, in my discussions with our committee and some of our members, should be a problem.
Any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Bruce.
Remind everybody we have a budget and finance meeting tomorrow and Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m.
For the purposes of budget, okay.
Hey,
Okay.
I think we got FMS. Hey, do we have an FMS meeting?
Hold on, we've got a voting process, if we can confirm the votes. Does anyone wish to change their vote? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please show the vote. Motion passed, 15 yes. Okay. Okay, we have the FMS committee meeting tomorrow at 5:30. And the budget and finance at 6. Okay? Mr. Davis?
Well, I was going to make sure about the caution light.
Okay.
We hadn't voted on it.
We don't need to vote on the caution rights to give Jeff permission to order.
That was in one.
Mr. Marlowe, are we final with that?
Okay.
Well, we got one problem, and that's still the coordination for the other half. With the school system, they've taken no action for their $2,500. We put up our $2,500, but they've done nothing on that.
Mr. Mike?
And on the agenda, we'll approve.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Orr.
Thank you, Mike.
I need the people who are on the beer committee to stick around for 1 minute after the meeting.
Okay, beer board
Just stick around.
here while the public's here, just for a moment. Okay. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Commissioner Bruce, do I hear a second? Commissioner Davis, all in favor, stand to your feet.